Hey guys, here's my putting practice routine, and I think it's quite effective. It takes roughly about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on if you are going to do this to completion like I am, and you'll understand what that means in a minute here. But I find a lot of people lack structure, especially when it comes to putting. They just go to the practice green and they just start hitting random 20-footers to different holes, and there's no structure at all. So if you do want to understand my kind of process and why I do what I do, here is a great video for you. When it comes to putting, I always need to be working on one of three, maybe four things. The first thing is my start line, if I'm starting the ball on my intended line, my read, my speed, and then pressure. So it is four things. If I'm not working on one of those four things, it's an absolute waste of time. And the first thing I do here with every single putting practice routine is the gate drill. I think it's one of the most effective drills for center contact, and it's just honestly a great way to warm up your stroke. Typically, and you're seeing me set this drill up right here, I do use a Stimpmeter to try to get the straight putt, and a lot of people are going to say that's a waste, you don't need to spend money on that, but I think honestly it gives you an objective, perfect straight putt every single time. As humans, we are subject to error with our stroke, so you may be actually aiming a little bit right and pulling putts, or aiming a little bit left and pushing putts, thinking you're hitting a good putt, but in reality, you're not. This is just an unbiased take of a straight putt, and when it comes to working on technical aspects of my stroke, everything needs to be perfect, everything. So I'm very meticulous when it comes to doing this type of stuff. As you can see, I have my chalk line set up, so I know it's perfect. I'm going to have my tees there for the gate, and I have basically three sets of tees. Obviously the first gate, which is going to be right beside the putter, and then I have two other tees, one kind of about 6 inches past and 6 inches before. What that is designed for is just to make sure I don't have an in to out stroke. I want to have like more of an in to in, or kind of a closer to straight back straight through. Now there's technically no such thing as a straight back straight through perfectly stroke, but I want it to be as close as possible. And when I typically miss push, so I'll miss it to the right, and that's because my putter is traveling too far in and it's going out. So those tees on the right side there are just designed to do that. Now, this one I'll either do one of two things. I'll either hit 50 putts in a row, or I'll do this for about 15 minutes. And 50 may seem difficult, like a hard task to do, but realistically, I know this putt is straight. I know this putt is perfect. I honestly, I don't want to sound like an asshole or anything like that, but I won't miss this putt. I would have to really hit a bad putt to do this. I am just here to grind my stroke, get that perfect center contact, and just get used to seeing the ball go into the hole. And I guess one thing I didn't mention before, but I'm sure a lot of people, you will already know what that means, but that towel I have set up there is just designed to protect the green. If I'm going to sit in a spot for over and over again, I need to make sure I am not damaging the green. You got to look out for the superintendents there. But I'll do that for about 50 minutes or 50 in a row. I'd say about 5 feet. And then I go straight into a 3-foot circle drill. Super simple. This one just works on pressure. This is something that I think everybody should be doing, because you should never miss these putts. Like if you look on tour, they're 90, I think they're like 90, 99 or like 90% from here. Like Rory McIlroy, before he missed those two short ones at the US Open, he was like almost, I think he was like 456 of 456 for the year inside 3 feet. So there's no excuse to miss these. And I like doing the full circle and not just doing like one kind of straight putt, is because you need to get every single read, every single kind of sloping putt here. Because this, when you're actually on the golf course, you are not going to get a perfectly straight putt every single time, as you know. And honestly, this just does such a good job of working on that pressure, just getting used to seeing the ball go in the hole, and kind of setting a goal and achieving it. And kind of I alluded it to in the beginning here, this may take you a lot longer, because for me, I do 25 in a row, and I did it on the first try here. I'm going to go through the whole thing, so you will be able to see me make every single putt. But you can kind of set goals for whatever your skill level is. Obviously, for someone that breaks 100, 25 is going to take you forever. Some people do 50. I know some people do 100, and it just really just depends on how dialed you want to get with this. Like I said, you should never be missing these. Obviously, you get a really tricky one. It may be tough at times, but just get used to banging these in just over and over and over again. These are great drills to really get used to adding a bit of pressure, because trust me, if you have failed multiple times and you get to that last putt you have to make, so you can be done with this drill, you will feel pressure. I guarantee it, because honestly, like even this one, like I felt a little bit of pressure hitting my 25th putt. You'll see at the end here, I do, when it comes to 4 balls in the hole, I like to move those balls out of the hole because I like to bang it in just to make sure I'm taking a bit of the break and kind of hitting it exactly as I would in a tournament. And this is what this drill is designed to do. It's just to help me prepare better for tournaments. And again, you can, however good you want to get, like set your goals, set your kind of parameters to whatever you want, but you should not be missing these. I think everybody should be working on putts inside of 8 feet and then just leg putts. Everything, I know it's going to sound counterintuitive, but once you're outside of 15 feet, statistically speaking, you're not really supposed to make it, to be honest. I think on tour, 50% is about just under 8 feet. And that's on tour. That's the best in the world with perfect greens. So for you, probably not getting there. So I think realistically, as golfers, we're going to mess up more by 3-putting. So work on your putts inside of 10 feet, inside of 8 feet. Just try to make those over and over again. And realistically, everything outside of that, we have to 2-putt. Again, statistically speaking, it may sound stupid, but you're going to make more mistakes trying to get too aggressive on that 20-footer that you just, you finally hit a good one. You feel like you deserve a birdie. You hit it 6 feet by, 3-putt. So that goes straight into the next drill here. I'm going to go to a 6-foot circle drill this time. And my goal here is 80%. So I'm going to hit 10 putts, and I need to get 8. And the thing with this drill is, if I miss like my first 3, let's just say, I have to keep hitting all 10 putts. I don't want to just miss them and then start over. The goal of this is just to hit so many 6-footers over and over again, just to, again, develop that feel, to really try to add at least some sort of pressure. Because again, as a professional golfer, as anyone that golfs, to be honest, you're getting so many 6-footers, so many 3-footers. Almost every single hole you're going to have inside of probably 6 feet for either, par, birdie, or bogey. So I think it's really useful to practice these. And again, set a goal that is both challenging but not impossible. Because for me, like 8 out of 10 is I can definitely get 10 out of 10 here, but sometimes, especially depending if I'm on a relatively sloped pin position here, it's going to take a while to get 8 out of 10 because it's very easy just to miss, just 2 of these. But again, set a goal that is going to challenge you, because it's very easy to be discouraged from these type of drills. But again, this drill is designed to work on a bit of pressure. Again, the first half an hour or maybe almost 45 minutes of my putting is inside of 8 feet. Always, 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 always. Work on those 8-footers. Trust me, it's going to help you. Now, kind of going into the latter half of my putting practice is obviously speed. Now, when it comes to this, I got my alignment rod. This one's going to be about a 20-footer because I have so many 20-footers when I play, whether it's for par, for birdie, just so many putts inside of 20 feet. I don't really have too many 30, 40, 50, 60-footers. Obviously, I'm going to practice them, but the majority of my practice is going to be putts I'm going to see on the golf course when I play. Again, that's where the structure comes in. I feel so many people just hit random putts to random holes, and you're not really getting anything out of it. So for me, I have a lot of these putts, whether it's uphill, downhill, side hill, and I'm just going to hit so many of these putts over and over again to try to get that speed dialed in. I want it to be, I have the alignment rod set about a foot, maybe a foot and a half past the cup. Again, just to get that perfect speed dialed in. And honestly, 20 feet does not take long at all to do. But I like to do them uphill, and then I also like to do them downhill, just to make sure I'm getting that whole kind of, I need it to be complete. You can't be just working on, uphill, only downhill. You just got to do everything. Just, when it comes to practice, you just got to be very objective. Just work on the things that are going to benefit your game the most. And, we get lots of downhill putts, a lot of uphill putts. Just, putt everything. And you know what? I'll do this the 20-footers don't take long at all. My goal here for all these putts, is to have every single putt either in the hole or in between the hole and the rod. If it's 3, 4, 5 inches short, doesn't count, unfortunately. It has to be pin high or behind. Because again, I just want to get used to decent speed. Because for me, when I putt poorly, I typically leave putts short, and I really need to make sure I'm getting my putts to the hole. And one thing too that I'm very conscious of when I'm putting right now is, and I can see that I'm not really doing it right now, but when I look in my whole vlogs, when I'm playing golf, when I record myself on the golf course, I do it quite a bit. So I know if I'm doing it in those videos, I'm doing it in tournaments for sure. And I have a nasty habit of standing up in my swing right before I hit the shot. So essentially, as I'm putting it, my head's going to come kind of left and up, and I'm going to hit putts a hair thin, and that's going to make it very easy for it to skid, and it's just going to come up, just a few feet short. Sometimes it's going to come really short if I do it quite a bit. And the other thing I do is I really have a short backswing and a really long follow through. So I have to make sure I do the opposite. Ideally, like the same length of the swing through and back. Essentially, that's what I'm working towards. And now, kind of the last little bit of my practice, I go back to my chalk line, but this time I grab my putting mirror, and I love the putting mirror because you can see exactly what you're doing. I really like to get my shoulders, knees, feet, everything square. Honestly, square, simple, that's how I like it. So I really make sure I'm very diligent on my fundamentals. I know it's very annoying to do, but most issues in the swing, whether it's full swing, chipping, putting, occur from a breakdown of setup. So I'm very diligent and I work quite hard on my setup to make sure it's perfect. So if you learned anything from this, hour-long practice session, please let me know in the comments what you feel resonated with you, and I'd be happy to do more. I filmed a chipping session the same day, so I'll have that out maybe sometime next week. But, if you're here, I really appreciate you. YouTube is something I love doing. Longer form content is obviously a lot harder than short form, so I appreciate you if you're still here. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And yeah, I really, really appreciate the support. It means the world to me. So hope you guys have a good night. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you next time.